because that's the last thing we got here. So first off, Super Pole is freaking awesome.
Love Super. Like I said, dude,
we need it.
Everybody thought Kenny. Oh, dude, fastest all day. It's Kenny. Like whatever. And then Jay Hill just comes out and just like does Justin Hill things, and you're like, that is what I'm talking about, dude.
Yes.
Like Super Pole, when all these guys, we've talked about it enough. We always wonder, like, if one of these guys, you give them incentive, if they just go out and focus on putting one lap heater in, who could be the fastest dude? Who could be the fastest dude? And it's like Justin Hill did Justin Hill things. Like he just went out and he just put the lap of his life in, and you're like, okay, that's cool. Didn't expect that.
Nope.
You know, because here's the thing: would it shock me if he did it again? No. Would it shock me if Savachi went out and did it? No. It adds excitement to the show.
Yep.
Which that's what Supercross is. It's a show.
Yep.
Outdoors is hardcore for the hardcore people. Supercross is a show. You add more excitement to it. That's the whole point of it. It's just like anything else that is a show.
Yeah.
You know. So.
Yeah. So that's awesome. The track was short, which we already kind of touched on.
When that split lane before the finish was dumb. Kenny's
really
line
stupid.
where he was
Super
bouncing
cool,
off,
though.
Yeah, he was bouncing off the berm and then shifting weight and kind of doubling in was cool. But the moment that they kicked the tough block out, I was like, ooh.
Yeah, well, and that finish line was huge. I was glad to see we weren't using the metal ramp for the finish. That was cool.
That's a good thing.
But that was a big. I'll tell you what, dude. There were a lot of them 250 guys stretching.
I think
to get
Dino
over that.
almost killed himself a couple times.
I think so too. But there were a lot of guys stretching to get over that on the 250 class, especially. So, what do you? So. This has been a topic of conversation. The Alessi crash.
Okay.
And how long it took for that red flag to come out. Because he was out for 3 to 4 minutes is what I heard.
Yeah, that
was... Which was 3 to 4 laps.
That was he really...
was out.
Yeah, honestly, if I was them, I'd have thrown up the red flag after the first time around. Like, after the first lap, and then they were like, okay, can we get him up? And then the second time it came around, I don't know why
they said there wasn't a red flag there. At all.
What?
That's what I've heard.
They didn't have a red flag?
That's what I've heard.
Well, if that's the case, that is not a good look. Then you know what? Stick one of the medic dudes right in front of.
Yeah, well, that was what they did. Because, did you see Shane? Because literally they're throwing the medic flag, and then that guy's standing there in the middle of the section.
Well, dude, and if I'm Shane and Max, and I can't remember who else was a part of that battle, was it Oldenburg or whatever?
Yeah.
Dude, every time I come around, I got to stall up my momentum for a whole rhythm section. I'm getting a little pissed.
Yeah, and those races were short anyway. That is one thing. And again, we're going to do some criticism here because the series is new and they have some things to work on.
Things they got to tweak.
But I'm with Kev. Lots of potential for this.
There wasn't a lot of people there, though. That was super strange.
But
it's also what we've been hearing, though. Reason why some of these rounds have gone away.
Yeah,
it hasn't done as well as they thought. But I'm also on your train of thinking that I think they're gonna kind of do what the GPs do and get some of these local municipalities or whatever you want to call them, governments to.
And here's another thing I've heard direct from Adam Bailey is that they're trying to do, with all these ones they're doing right now, they're trying to do multi-year deals in the place, which will be good because that will build consistency, which will hopefully build the fan base there. So, so the red flag situation there needed to be, they needed to have that more ironed out because that was definitely a thing that could happen, and it did happen. We saw it, and it was real mess. And then the restart was the same thing. And the real problem with the restart was that you did that single file restart, except for the track just curves right back around on itself. So that was an issue. So from what I understand, the last 5 guys were like the rules didn't matter. It was just like, get the fuck out of the way. So I think we need to look at some stuff like that a little bit closer. I
will. So, have you sent? You just said you watched the clip. Have you watched the whole broadcast yet? Though,
so I kind of skipped through the broadcast.
So what do you think of what you saw though about the most important part? I guess the actual racing.
I thought the racing was actually pretty good, and I think a lot of
450 class.
I think a lot of it has to do with the freaking what's it called?
Like I'm gonna be honest with you. Outside of Kenny not getting a start, he's not gonna get beat this year.
No, but we knew that coming in.
Yeah, but part of me, like, dude, Vince Freeze, he got that one win only because he got the start and he was doing Vince Freeze things. The 250 class was all over the place, even though Shane ultimately ended up winning as many motos as he won 2 out of the 3 or all 3 or something. Max was not. I thought Max would be a lot better, to be honest with you. And then Enzo riding with a busted up shoulder, like that was impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, the Enzo thing was super interesting. How he popped his shoulder out, got it popped back in, then rode.
I think he's going to dominate the rest of that series.
But now I'm confused because now I've heard he's getting surgery, and then I heard he wasn't getting surgery. So I don't really know what's going on with that. If he gets surgery, like he's out.
Oh, he's done for sure.
But I don't. Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, I do think he has the potential to dominate the 250 class there.
I think the 450 class is pretty clear cut. It's Kenny Savachi and Vince Freeze.
Yeah,
like it's pretty clear cut. Because even I thought
Justin Hill sticks his nose in.
No,
though?
I mean I thought like dude, especially after he went out and won the Super Bowl and he was feeling froggy in the qualifier. Like dude, he doesn't. I don't think he. Which is odd because he's always kind of been a fast starter. I don't think he gets into a groove early enough in those short mains.
Yeah, that's probably true. I think he does need the longer main to get into a groove and like really
he did this at the end of this
stuff off.
And he did this at the end of our series. Like as the main would go on, he'd start clicking dudes off, which is something weird because you never really thought of Justin Hill as being a cardio guy, but like whatever.
Yeah.
But I think because the field isn't obviously as deep. Like if Kenny and Savachi and Freeze get a start, like he can't catch him.
No,
he just can't. So. The racing was good. My biggest complaint, and it's kind of one of those things they're going to have to work on, their biggest miss, though, they didn't have a top GP guy. That was the biggest miss to me. Because, dude, could you imagine if they would have had, like, a Jeremy Sewer or when they go to, what is it? They have a Spain round, right? I think? Because they were talking about...
I don't remember.
Because the big thing was trying to get Prado, which obviously Prado now is never going to happen because he has the the GP lead. But I feel like it's a big miss if they don't have a top GP dude show up for at least one of these rounds. Because once again, we've talked about this. Like if they don't get a top GP guy, this is just an American series in a different part of the world.
Yeah,
which is fine. Like it's fine. We still have the top Supercross dudes in the world, but the whole point of this being a World Supercross series is having people that don't race our own series in it. And I know that they have Subs and they have Zorande and they have Ramet and all these different guys. But like no offense to those dudes, a lot of those dudes are way past their prime and they're never going to win a race. You know, Matt Moss was in there, so that's cool, but he's all over the place. Luke Clout has the potential to be the one guy that could step up, but he can't stay off the ground. Tonti's not a Supercross guy. So it's like you have some of these decent guys, but it's still a miss if they don't have a top GP guy show up for one of these races. Like, it would have been cool to kind of what they did that one year with remember that wild Supercross race they did with the sand that Hurlings was there and Geyser was there?
It was an SMX.
Yeah.
It was a super motocross race.
If you could get like a Geyser to show up to one of these, or you could get a Hurlings to show up to one of these, they'd obviously have to pay him a lot of money for that one race. But that is my only beef. If I'm gonna really like harp on something, that is my only thing is the fact that they didn't have a top GP dude. Because I don't know about you, but I was sitting there and I'm going, yeah, man, I feel like I'm just watching like a less loaded Feld Supercross race.
Yeah, I do have to say though, I do think that I think the format lends itself to parity more, which is cool because the races are super short, man.
Yeah, you got to get a start.
Super short.
Outside of that last one, and even the last one, it's only 10 and 12 laps. You got to get a start.
Yeah,
or 10 and 12 minutes or whatever the hell you want to call it.
It's super interesting to see how short it actually is. And like I said, watching the 250s, it was like, okay, sweet. And then like as soon as you start getting into it, it's like, boom, it's done.
It also makes it more so in the 250 class because it's obviously guys are a lot closer together as far as speed and talent.
Yeah.
It definitely makes it where if you don't get a start in one of those mains, you could easily lose the championship in
100%.
in one round.
100%.
Like, because if Shane goes to whatever the one is on the 30th and he just doesn't get starts all night, like, dude, because he's not clearing away faster than everybody else.
No.
So you're going to work your way up to third, and that ultimately you could lose the points lead pretty easily. 450 class, once again, let's be real, it's Kenny all day long.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it was great. Like we talked about this, like it's anything having to do with dirt bikes, I'm always going to watch, especially like another Supercross series getting this going. But they definitely, and it's the first year, they have some stuff they got to work on. But Kev's right. It does have the potential to be very, very well, to go well. But they gotta, I think they got to bring in the right people that have the know-how.
Well, so Cooksy's been talking to Adam Bailey, and there's some things behind the scenes here, because Cooksy's like, dude, like, this should have been better than what it was, but there's some things going on. Like, so one of the big things here that they're work that they're really having to work on with all these different venues that they're going to here that Feld has laid out already is dirt.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the big problem. Where do you get the dirt? Where do you store the dirt? How do you get the dirt from outside the stadium in type deal? So that's like a big logistics thing that they're working on, which, again, they've probably been working on it, but it's still not like an overnight thing to figure out where to store 9,000 tons of dirt, you know?
Yeah, because over here, like, we store them in a lot of, like, big, storage storage places or like in arenas.
And again, they have it laid out already for every single stadium that they go to.
Problem over there is a lot harder because a lot of the other places, like, that's big enough to hold dirt are soccer stadiums, and that's never going to happen. They're never going to store dirt in a soccer stadium.
No.
Like, they're not going to fuck that up. Soccer's too big over there.
So there's some logistics things that they're working through. How about that Mobile One sponsorship for the Rick Ware thing? Do you think that was just like a carryover from one of his other things, or do you think they're legitimately sponsoring that team? Because if they are, that is super interesting.
I think it might. Well, I don't. I think it might be a little bit of both. I think more so. I don't know if Mobile One is one of Rick Ware's, like. It's definitely not one of his IndyCar sponsors. Mm-hmm. So maybe it's one of his NASCAR sponsors, or
I don't know.
He's got interchange. Dude, he's got.
I just thought that was super interesting that was on them, because it's like, well, Mobile One definitely doesn't make.
Yeah.
Motorcycle oil.
I definitely.
Well, they do, but no one uses it.
Yeah, no shit.
I mean, don't get me wrong. If they want to send me a whole bunch and say they sponsor us, like, I might use it in my bike too. But
yeah, exactly. I don't like the fact though that team. I think it's cool for the riders, but I think it's an optics thing. You got to get all the guys in the same brand. It looks super stupid that your 250 guy rides a Yamaha and then your 450 guy rides a Kawasaki.
I don't think that looks that dumb. Because the graphics aren't, because it's not a blue bike.
No. I don't mean that. I think the bikes look fine. I mean in the sense that you're supposed to be one of the bigger teams over there, and you don't have an actual OEM as a sponsor.
But there isn't any OEM for any of them. The OEMs just support the teams outside of that, and then the team just carries it in.
OEM might not be the right wording. Make a deal with somebody that sells bikes that you get bikes from. Mm-hmm. Have them on the same bike. The bikes look fine. I think the bikes honestly look kind of cool.
I was gonna say, I kind of like it. The fact that it's not like a green Kawasaki and a blue Yamaha and a red Honda.
I think the bikes looks great. I don't, not the way the bike looks. Put them on a Yamaha or put them both on Kawasaki's. I think it just makes it. I think it's one of those things as an optics thing. It just kind of, because the series is new, and maybe it won't in the future. Maybe it'll be to the point that, hey, if you have a team, you guys got to ride the same bikes. Mm-hmm. It's just kind of, it feels like it's thrown together, and it's like, here you fucking go, do whatever you're gonna do, because that shit would never happen over here.
Yeah, but it's completely different. And to be honest,
and that's what I mean. Like, you see what I'm trying to say? Like, I understand. Yeah. Like, maybe it won't. Maybe in the future it gets to the point. Hey, your team rides Hondas. Everybody's got to ride a Honda. Your team rides Yamahas. It just kind of.
Here's the thing. So I could see for practical reasons, aka parts, that kind of shit, to make them all ride the same. However, I would like to see it all like Rick Ware, where, like, you don't have it OEM branded.
Yeah.
You have, like, what are you riding? I'm riding the Mobile One Rick Ware racing bike.
No,
I understand what you're saying.
That I don't have a problem
and, like,
with
I'm saying, in the future, okay, cool, just for simplicity for the teams of, like, okay, we're a gas team, whatever, Honda team. But I would like to see all the bikes in the series legitimately, completely separately branded, like matching, like the Rick Ware ones are, but completely separately branded and colored, so that it's not kind of like Formula One, for lack of a better term. You know, like we all know that the Red Bull is powered by Honda or whatever it was, at least.
Yeah.
But you have the Honda Motors logo there, but like outside of that, there ain't anything on there that tells me that's a fucking Honda.
The Ferraris and the Mercedes-Benz. Yeah. No, totally. I definitely agree.
I think honestly, that would be really cool.
I think Shane's bike looks sick, honestly.
I do.
Joey's bike, a white Kawasaki, it's kind of been done. But the white Yamaha, like that bike, honestly, I think is the best looking bike in the 250 group. I think it looks awesome. And especially with the kit that Shane has going, like, I think his setup is sick. That's not, that I don't disagree with at all. I think that's really, really cool. I just think that, like, getting the same bike brand in the future is it just looks more professional. Because, like I said, when you have one guy running one bike, another, it's kind of like, well, here you fucking go. But no, I think it was a good first start, and it shows that, like, hey, this is raw, this is new, we're trying to work on this.
And I think they're open to. I think they're open to criticism. Adam Bailey has said that, like, yeah, we're working on things right now.
Yeah.
So
no, I think it was a good first round. Like I said, though, it's just a thing with 450 racing, I guess, these days outside of the GPs. This is if Kenny could win every fucking race. To be honest with you,
yeah.
So that might get a little boring, I guess.
We'll see.
Depends. I don't want to. I just don't.
Is he gonna win when Webb shows up?
Maybe not. Probably not. I would actually give Coop I would actually give Coop the upper hand on that one.
It'd be crazy if Webb wins this title, setting Kenny out one race, and it's only 6 races anyway.
It would be a typical Cooper Webb circa 2021 thing. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think that's just kind of the state of 450 racing these days.
Well, now we got 90 days to wait till we get to the next one, which is a long time. And I couldn't find a schedule when I clicked the link tree to go to their website. It just clicked me out of Instagram.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. So that was your World Supercross wrap up there. So we'll cover these as they continue to come through here, going through the fall here. Interested to see how it goes. One last thing before